Welcome guys, today we're going to be doing a top 5 tips and tricks video for Don't Starve. I want to make it the easiest possible for you. I want to make it so simple that you'll be able to breeze through the game like it's nothing. So without further ado, I say we get into the first tip. Tip number 1 would be to, instead of finding somewhere to base straight off the bat, wait until about day 6, day 7, just explore constantly. You've got this entire map to explore. It's humongous. You're not going to want to base in one small place. So, spread out, find the perfect location, and then say that that's home. I'm saying more of, if you just stay in one spot, you're not going to find everything there is to find. And you're probably going to find yourself struggling throughout the days. I'm just saying though, if you do decide you want to just base near spawn, that's fine, but you will have to do a lot of trekking to get other resources. I'm talking waiting the night out in the near, like, forest or something, with a torch and stuff like that. You're not going to want to do that. You're going to want to base yourself in the middle of pretty much everything that there is to find. That doesn't just mean in the middle of the map. That means in the middle of every single biome you can possibly get all in one spot. Like, you're just going to want a variety of all materials to help you out in your first day of Don't Starve. This is tip number 2. All I'm saying is, in tip number 2, don't bother fighting anything. There's plenty of things to fight later on in the game. Right now, you're just going to want to focus on gathering resources and waiting out that period of time until you find the perfect place to have a house or base, whatever you'd like to call it. That is completely up to you. All I'm saying is, if you're going to fight straight off the bat, be prepared to take a lot of losses and a lot of damage straight off the bat. As you can see, or probably tell, there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of creatures in Don't Starve, and then, like, they're all pretty much vicious. You might be lucky with the odd one or two. Maybe they're not as vicious as you think they are. For example, beefaloes, or, I don't know. There's not really that many that are not so vicious. But just don't focus on fighting unless you really have to. The only time I'd say it's okay to fight within the first 6 days until you've found a base and you've got a decent amount of equipment is probably the pigmen. If you kill the pigmen, they can give you a variety of good loot and give you stuff to help you fight more bosses. For example, pig meat, pig skin, and regular meat, which can all be used to craft the football helmet and the handbat, which are 2 amazing, like, accessories in the game, and are probably one of the best things to use for that stage of the game. As you can see, there's quite a few tall birds and stuff like that. You don't want to just charge into battle thinking you can take them on, because you can't tell how much HP they have. You can't tell anything about them. This is tip 3, and for number 3, I'd say gather as many resources as you can on the floor early game. As you can see, this is what I'm doing in the video that you're seeing now. I'm just completely scouring the floor for any materials that I can find just on the floor on its own. Obviously, you're still going to want to get trees and, like, whatnot, like rocks and stuff like that, but the floor materials, you can never get enough of them. And you might even find all the stuff that you need to get, you know, like, for example, you might even just find rocks and wood on the floor if you're looking enough anyway. So never stop picking stuff up. You're always going to need materials and Don't Starve. So obviously go ahead and mine up stuff, but the easiest way to get materials is probably scouring them off the floor. I've always found an easy way of doing this. It's always been an easy time. I've never really had trouble with it. They're always just sat on the floor. Sometimes you can get a really dry world sometimes. But that brings me back to tip 1. You need to explore. If you don't explore, you're not going to get far. You're never going to get far if you don't explore. And obviously, you're going to want to explore. So the more you explore, the more biomes you find, the more resources each biome contains. You might find one with predominant rocks, you might find one with flowers and twigs, or you might find one like the savannah, which predominates on grass, this isn't the biome that you're seeing in the video, but I did find a lump of grass as I've just said that. Tip number 4 is going to have to be one of the most vital. You need to get food. You can usually go around one day without eating anything at all, but after that you're gonna need some food. Literally, food in this game is your best friend. When you have food, you're basically invincible. If you take damage, no worries, eat something and you'll regain your health. Anything in this game literally evolves around food. You can tame up enemies, you can tame up just standard creatures that you find, even ones that don't attack. You can tame them all up with food. You can have the food yourself, anything. Food has infinite uses in this game. You can never say, oh, I've got enough food in this game, because obviously, don't say that, because you're never gonna. This leads me on to another point. I see a lot of people gathering their food just straight off the bat. They just find it and pick it straight away. Only gather what you need, because if you can tell from my hotbar, each edible item has a green background to it. That's a decay timer. When that decay timer goes yellow, that's stale. You will lose sanity and won't gain as many health points and hunger points as you would normal food. And then after the yellow part, it's just rotten. You will literally take damage, you won't gain any food, and you'll lose loads of insanity by eating it. But that's not always a bad thing. If you save up your rotten food, you can use it as fertilizer for when you pick up berry bushes yourself. Like, you can go around digging up berry bushes with a shovel, or digging up bushes that contain obviously food, and you can use them rotten foods, which is obviously rot. You can use all that to make sure that the bush actually grows, because as soon as you replant it, you need to fertilize it before you can use it again. This leads me to tip number 5, bases. This is similar to tip number 1, but when you're building a base, I want you to know that science machines and alchemy stations are key. You're going to need a science machine to create an alchemy engine, and once you've done that, I see a lot of people clogging up their base by keeping the science machine. You don't want to do that. You want to just keep with the alchemy station, because it's a better, more easier, smaller version of the science machine, which allows you to unlock a lot more. All I'm saying is, once you find that you've got more stuff that you're able to unlock and can still unlock the same stuff as the previous one, get rid of the crafting table or crafting, crafting bench or whatever you want to call it. Get rid of it. It clogs up too much space, and in this game, space is key. I'm going to add an extra pointer, light. You need light. You can't go anywhere in this game without light. So having a base around about day 6, instead of just using torches to guide your way through, is probably the best thing you can do. But I'll give you a tip for free. If you click light sources, you don't want to get a campfire. If you light a campfire up too high, or feed it too much like wood, it will lose track and it will set fire to everything around it. You don't want that. You want the fire pit. This might be a little harder to obtain, but personally, once you've got yourself a base, you should always have the materials nearby anyway. So, you shouldn't really have a problem with gathering the materials for it. Thank you for watching, guys. If you found yourself enjoying this tutorial or this video, anything, if you found enjoying it whatsoever, and if you found it helpful, please like and subscribe, and remember, send anything in the comments below. Any suggestions, any requests, anything. I will try my hardest to complete them, and have a nice day. Thank you for watching.